This is a story that dates back 100 years. It's a story of Hawaii's love for its children. The year was 1907. Honolulu was a bustling young city, developing with all the modern advances of its time. And yet, 2 out of every 7 children did not survive to see their first birthday. This was of grave concern to many people in the community, including Dr. James Judd, a prominent local surgeon, and Governor Sanford Dole.
Good morning, Governor Dole.
Good morning, Dr. Judd. How is the health of the community?
Good in some respects and not so good in others.
Why is that?
We have no place to take care of sick children. When a contagious disease like diphtheria or whooping cough starts in the family, usually all the other children catch it.
What should be done about it?
We should have a children's hospital.
Well, then let's have a children's hospital. Come to my house tomorrow evening, and I will invite some people to be there who might be very interested in such a project.
At the meeting, Dr. Judd spoke of the hundreds of children who could be saved with proper medical care. Albert Wilcox, a successful plantation owner, knew all too well the need for a children's hospital. At age 6, he traveled with his father to Boston by ship to receive medical care. The trip was arduous, and it meant a year away from the home he loved. Mr. Wilcox wasn't about to let other children endure the same fate. He offered a gift of $50,000 to open a hospital for Hawaii's children and asked the community to match his contribution. And match they did.
Enclosed, please find a check in your favor for $1,500. Yours very truly, Charles M. Cook.
I now have the pleasure to enclose my check for $5,000, with the hope that the hospital may soon be so far established as to begin the good work contemplated and fully meet the anticipations of its friends. I remain, Charles R. Bishop.
I would be glad to assist with a donation of $200 and will be glad to pay this amount at any time when called upon. Yours very sincerely, Aubrey Robinson.
Enclosed herewith, please find our donation for the Children's Hospital. We are yours truly, City Mill Company, CKIE.
Large and small, the donations rolled in until all that was needed was a name. Because of the generosity of Mr. Wilcox, the hospital was soon to open, named in honor of his wife, Emma Kauikeolani Napoleon Wilcox.
Mrs. A.S. Wilcox has been such a good teacher, wife, and mother that I quite sympathize with her husband in his wish that the hospital should bear her name. If sufficiently endowed and properly directed, it will be a very useful institution in Honolulu, as I certainly wish that it may be.
November 25, 1909, was a festive day as Kauikeolani Children's Hospital opened its doors on Kuakini Street. For many children, their futures were now a little more secure. Over the next 2 decades, the hospital grew steadily, doubling the number of patients it served. In accordance with the hospital's mission, no child was turned away because of a family's inability to pay. Soon it was clear a larger, more modern hospital was needed. On January 10, 1950, ground was broken to replace the original hospital with a new facility. Now armed with much-needed space, Kauikeolani Children's Hospital added specialty care. This marked yet again a new era in treating Hawaii's critically ill newborns and children. Additional services included a rehabilitation center, a residency training program to train future doctors, specialty clinics for cerebral palsy and epilepsy, a birth defects center, neighbor island transport, and a pulmonary center to care for the hospital's sickest patients.
We got one of the first 12 grants of this pulmonary NIH grant in 1967, and we had a first pediatric surgeon. And we got the first grant that developed really our neonatal intensive care at Kauikeolani Children's Hospital.
As they had since the beginning, the community continued to raise money to support the nonprofit hospital's programs and operations. Kauikeaoulani Children's Hospital had become the place to treat children. Across town, the Kapi'olani Maternity Home, founded by Queen Kapi'olani in 1890, had become the place to have a baby. With over 150 years of history between them, the hospitals combined resources and moved into a new hospital on Punahou Street in 1978.
It made sense for the Children's Center to come together with a Women's Center, because if women are delivering sick babies, it makes sense to have the team to take care of them right here in the same institution. Now, we could develop a neonatal intensive care unit that could take care of a lot more than it did before. And as a result of that, all the subspecialty things that needed intensive care could be developed. Oncology programs, bone marrow transplants, neurosurgery, many things developed as a result of the two coming together.
Today, Kapi'olani Medical Center for Women and Children is a nationally recognized nonprofit hospital dedicated to caring for Hawaii's families. Community support continues to be essential to its success. While many places in Hawaii care for kids, only Kapi'olani Medical Center has the subspecialty care that Hawaii's most critically ill children require.
Jamie was unexpectedly born 3.5 months early. She was 1 pound, 11 ounces. And I remember that because 11 rhymes with heaven. She would fit in both hands from head to toe in my hands together like this. I have a picture that at home that has Jamie's hand wrapped around my thumb, and her fingers could not reach around my thumb. They went about halfway around my thumb. I look at Jamie today, and she's an active 12-year-old you would never know. She's a cheerleader up at Punahou, and she's a wonderful girl. Thank goodness for Kapi'olani and the doctors and the nurses that took care of her and led us through that. She wouldn't be here without them.
From operating the state's only pediatric emergency room, to transporting the sickest children from our neighbor islands, to caring for the most fragile and sick newborns, the staff at Kapi'olani fights for the future every child deserves.
We have at least 12 board-certified neonatologists on staff who provide 24/7 coverage in-house, which lays the groundwork for having expert care all around the clock, and that is very helpful for patient outcomes and care.
At the Children's Hospital, little touches make a big difference too. Colorful beads allow young cancer patients to share their courageous journey with others.
There's a lot. White are for each day of chemotherapy, blue is for clinic visits, red is for blood transfusions. It's a lot. And these black ones with little white lines on them, those are for like shots, pokes, stuff like that. I feel overwhelmed. I can't believe I've gone through all this.
Animal-assisted therapy helps kids find comfort from a caring friend. And a special playroom helps kids be kids. One by one, we work to better every child's life. For Jeremiah, happiness was hearing the world for the very first time, thanks to a hearing device and special therapy that could only be done at Kapi'olani. Walking the halls of Kapi'olani, you see the faces of the future. These are Hawaii's kids, our kids.
Taylor spent her 6th birthday being here and Halloween, and she had a great time. Robin and her staff made it very special during the hard times and so forth, but it did bring a smile to her face, and it made it very special for us.
They are part of our family. They've just been there for us and helped us get through the bad days and the good days.
As we celebrate the past 100 years of care at Kauikeaoulani Children's Hospital and Kapi'olani Medical Center, exciting plans are taking shape to ensure exceptional care for generations to come. The way in which modern medicine is delivered today has changed significantly since the hospital was built 30 years ago. Kapi'olani is taking steps to upgrade and expand its aging facility to meet the needs of Hawaii's growing population and incorporate 21st century medical advances.
We get all that technology, which is fantastic, around the bed, supporting the child, but then we just have a little chair for the family to sit in. What we want is to have family space so that families can stay in their room with their child and can spend the night and can actually participate in the care and the healing process of the child.
Research clearly shows that children and adults, for that matter, heal faster and recover from whether it's illness or injury better and quicker when they're surrounded by their loved ones. And certainly when you're speaking about a pediatric population, that's true.
Looking to the next 100 years, we're on the verge of another new era in pediatric care. An era where parents will play an integral role in their child's care and comfort. An era where patients and families are at the center of the healthcare experience.
The outcomes that we have as a result of these very extensive treatments and therapies that we provide here that are available nowhere else in Hawaii are at or much better than some of the finest centers, finest children's hospitals on the mainland.
15% of babies in Hawaii are born prematurely. 1 out of every 100 kids are born with a heart defect. 35 to 50 kids are diagnosed with cancer each year. 16,000 child emergencies pass through our doors. Every one of these children deserves a future. This is the story of a hospital that is vital to our community. It is a story that began 100 years ago, and it has no end, for it is a story of Hawaii's love for its children.
Thank you, Kapi'olani.
Thank you for helping me, Kapi'olani.
Thank you for making us part of your family and becoming part of ours.
Thank you, Kapi'olani, for everything.
Thank you, Kapi'olani.
Thank you, Kapi'olani.
I thank Kapi'olani Hospital very much for taking care of my granddaughter.
Thank you, Kapi'olani. Thank you, Kapi'olani. You rock.